Hi, in this video I'm going to try to demonstrate to you how ping pong pairing works. Now to do this, I'm recording this video by myself, and normally ping pong pairing would happen between two people. So in order to simulate this, I'm going to do some tricks with cameras and microphones and stuff. So just to have some fun with it, and also to help drive home the idea of ping pong pairing. So, so let's just get right into it. I'm using the string calculator kata as an example, just so that we don't have to focus too much on the example, but we can work with something that's familiar. So let's just get right into it. So here is the first section of my kata. I've got my I'm in my branch. Let's see, get branch. Yeah, I'm in a good branch here. So I'm going to go ahead and write the first spec. So, and I'm using conversational coding when a user input is empty. Um, it should return 0. So we have a calculator. And I've got to create this for the first time since this has never been used before, and I'll go ahead and move this out to a separate folder. So now I should be able to create this field, and we're going to use an add function, and we're not going to pass anything into it the first time. And I'll go ahead and have this return -1, just because I don't want to return something that's going to make it pass right away, or some not implemented exception, which is not fun at all. So then I'll go back, and yeah, we still have some problems. I've got this result that needs to be added, and this should be 0. Oh, I can type. All right, so I'm going to run, and I've got my auto start on my tests right there, so it should fail for the right reason. It expected 0, but it found -1. That makes total sense because that's how we wrote our code. And so in order to get this over to the other coder, some other coder, we'll call him Matthew, I'm going to get this pushed in. So get push, oh, sorry, I need to add, and I probably need to do it right. So get add dash capital A, get commit, and I'm going to say, and this is the first time, the first commit, so and the first failing test, I'm going to say empty string failing. All right, so then I'm going to push this into my origin, and this is the 19th, right? Yeah. So I'll go ahead and push this in. And so now the other coder on the other side should be able to take over.
So, hi, I'm the other coder. I'm some other coder. So I'm going to get pull origin 19 and pull down the other guy's code, and let's just see what we got. Should be able to rerun the tests and see that they are failing for the right reasons. So we got 0. We should expect 0, but we got -1. So I'm just going to make that test pass right now. So that's going to go, yeah, right there, 0. We'll rerun the tests, and so, yeah, it passes. All right. No surprise there. So now, as part of the ping pong pairing pattern, I'm going to write the next test. So I made something pass. Now I'm going to write a failing test. So when user input is 1 number, all right, it should return that number. We have a calculator, and I'm going to add, and I'm going to pass in just any old number. All right, I have to add the parameter because it doesn't exist yet, but now I've got a broken build up above because it's requiring something. So I'm going to add a default value so that it doesn't require it. All right, so I'm going to instantiate this field, and that should give me a 1. I'll rerun the tests, and the test should fail. That's what we want right off the bat. So here is, yeah, we're expecting a 1, but we found a 0. We can explain why. It totally makes sense. And so I'm going to check it in to Git and pass it back over to Byron. I don't need to add, though. Let's see, empty string passing, 1 number failing. All right.
So hey, here we are again, and I'm gonna say we're gonna get pull origin 19, and then we should be able to run the test we got from that guy and see if everything is still failing for the right reasons. So he made the first test pass, then he wrote a new test to make it fail. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make his test pass, then I'm going to write a test that fails. So this one is failing for the right reasons. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go ahead and just make this pass. So if the if string is null or empty s, then we'll return this. Otherwise, we'll return 1. And that should make this pass. Yeah. All right. So now that I've made his test pass, I'm going to write a new test for him to try to fail or to try to pass. So spec when user input is 2 numbers, it should return the sum. Sometimes I can't even type sum of those numbers. All right, so I've got a calculator, and as my system under test, and then I've got an add function which should take a 1, 2, and that result should be 3. So if I rerun the tests, I should see that it fails. And sometimes I've got to add the test to my session. So let's see if I can do that real quick. All right, I've got something in the way. It's not letting me add this test to the current session. So I'm actually going to close all these sessions. And sometimes little snafus like this happen. You prefer it to not happen while you're doing a video, but sometimes they do. And you just try to distract the person who's watching the video so that they don't notice. So our result was 3. We expected the result to be 3, but it was 1. All right, so I passed the previous test. Now I wrote a new test that's failing, and so now we should be ready for Mr. Matthew. Oh wait, I've got to check this in. So I don't need to add. So this is 1 number passing, 2 numbers failing. All right, and push 19. All right, and it's pushed. All right, Matthew, it's your turn.
Well, all right, here we go. I'm going to pull origin 19, and I've got my code, and we're going to rerun the tests, see if that guy actually did this right. So make sure that this test is still failing for the right reasons. I want to make sure that this is... that's why it wasn't running. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be 3, but it found 1. Okay, so let's just go in here and make it do that then. So we'll say split. We'll split on the comma, and we'll go ahead and map these to a parse to an integer, so that we have a list of numbers. And so if the numbers count is 1, then return that. Otherwise, return numbers dot first plus numbers dot last. So I'll rerun all the tests, and we should see, yep, it passes. So this is, yeah, I'm pretty much done with this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and commit it. So that's one number passing, no, yeah, passing. Two, wait, I haven't written my test yet. Yeah, I better do that. I hate it when I forget things. All right, so I'm going to write this test. Let's see. This is when adding an unknown amount of numbers. It should return the sum of all those numbers. I've got a calculator that when I add and I've got an integer result which should be 6. Alright, so now I should have a failing test, and I should be ready to check in. Alright, so yeah, it expected 6, but it found 4. It's because it's adding the first and last numbers. Alright, fine. So now we're ready to commit. This is 2 numbers passing, multiple numbers failing. Get push, origin, 19, and there we go.
So, sorry for the theatrics, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what it's like with ping pong pair programming. It's a pattern of just back and forth, and it's meant to keep everybody engaged. It's meant to prevent those times where one driver is driving for hours and hours and hours. It's also meant to reinforce our use of test-driven development, because it's the whole pattern is based on a failing test, a passing test, a failing test, a passing test. And so this is the pattern that you should definitely be using during your katas, but it's something that you can actually use throughout your day also.